It's spooky month, and that means it's time to do a low-effort review of Scorn. Scorn is basically a first-person shooter that asks, what if an H.R. Giger painting was a video game? And to be honest, that's about it. For those of you who don't know, Giger? Anyway, for those of you who don't know, he was responsible for this style of artwork that combined the mechanical and the flesh and had a lot of weird sexual overtones to it. It's freaky stuff like this. And it's inspired everything from the Xenomorph of Alien, to Gygus from Earthbound, to pretty much all of Axiom Verge. The thing is, those games and movies do it better than Scorn, because in those games and movies, you are a normal person in a weird Giger-esque environment, just trying to survive and avoid the horrible secrets that the environment lies within. In Scorn, you play a Giger thing inside another Giger thing. Everything is Giger. The guns are Giger, the healing is Giger, and eventually, that makes Giger the norm. By the 10th time that you're stabbing yourself to heal yourself, or that you look down to see a weird abomination parasite hung onto your abdomen, it's just not weird anymore. And so Scorn does a really good job of making this whole thing pretty mundane. Giger-esque horror relies on the environment feeling alive, like it's always going to eventually get you, like you're never safe. The problem is Scorn makes everything feel safe. You don't even get the ability to shoot until several hours into the game. And none of the enemies are particularly threatening. They're really just more roadblocks, they're frustration. And since the gunplay isn't that good, that's what you feel. You don't feel afraid, you feel frustrated. And you'd think that that would mean the correct thing to do would be to run, but the environments are designed such that you can't really run from enemies. So you have to slog through combat to get to the next part of the game, which is usually some sort of puzzle. Scorn has been marketed as a survival horror game and a first-person shooter, but it's really neither of those. Most of its gameplay is really tedious puzzles. It's like a weird, sexually frustrated version of The Witness. And it's also really short. You could beat it in about 5 hours, which, considering it takes a couple hours to get to the guns, says something about the pacing. Honestly, this is kind of what Scorn made me feel like. It was almost depressing that all this strange, macabre, weird sci-fi art was going to waste. Is it a bad game? I'm not going to say it's outright bad, but it's just really bland for the art style. Giger-esque paintings and art motifs are supposed to make you feel deeply unnerved, and I just never felt that in Scorn. I felt bored. The art was great, but the mechanics just didn't back it up. In the end, I give Scorn a flaccid robot penis out of 10.